Hello there, it's me, MRIZ, and I'm here to crochet a lesbian junimo. You might be able to see back here, I think it's around here, I can't really see on the viewfinder. I have a bisexual junimo on my shelf over here, and if you have not yet watched my recent vlogs, more specifically this one, there's been some changes regarding my sexuality. I have a disease, and that disease is called being a lesbian. And I've got news for you, bitch. It's terminal. Okay, sorry. So I thought I obviously need to switch out this junimo, so I thought I would crochet it on a video. And while I'm crocheting, I am gonna tell you guys some weird lore about myself. Because if there's one thing about me, I've lived a lot of lives. I do need to pull up my junimo steps really quick. Most of the pattern that I'm going to be following is from this video right here. I do put the arms and legs in a slightly different spot, so keep that in mind. So if you're a crocheter, go check out that video. I've never used this yarn before. I got a bunch of these like tiny yarns in a package for like Christmas last year, and they're so tiny, I'm like, I don't know what to use them for. But I think this is perfect, a little junimo. But yeah, I'm trying to dabble in being a little less scripted here on YouTube. So here goes nothing, I guess. We'll start off this lore drop with the fun fact that I am a musical theater kid. That's right. Cringe all you want. It's just who I am. I'm not really so much into musical theater right now. I do enjoy a couple songs here and there. But I'm not really like an avid, I'm not listening to musical theater all the time. I have had my fair share of roles in musical theater. I've done a lot of plays. I was Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Actually, I need to see how, so this is 15 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, so I need to switch every 3 rounds. But yeah, I was Belle in Beauty and the Beast my junior year of high school. And I also had brown hair at the time and like kind of looked like Belle, so I feel like I had that one in the bag a little bit. But what's crazy is at the same time that I was Belle, I was also simultaneously Rona Lisa Peretti in the Putnam County Spelling Bee. 2 lead roles simultaneously with showtimes like that were happening like around the same time. So I was memorizing 2 lead role scripts.
I went into the Disney Channel building and I sat down with the president of Disney Channel and I said, I want to make history. And that's what this is.
I'm just saying. I'm good at memorizing lines, I guess. And then my senior year of high school, I was Catherine from Pippin. My freshman year, sorry, I'm going out of order. My freshman year, I was Clarice in Fahrenheit 451. A little deep cut, kind of. Not really. Fahrenheit 451, is that a deep cut? I was also in another play my freshman year. I forget what it was called. And I didn't have a lead role, but it was about, I had a weird drama teacher my first year of high school. She didn't do musicals. She only did like just plays. And it was a play about a town that was plagued with stupidity. And I don't even fully really remember what happened in that play, but I was in that one too. I've done a lot of like one acts as well. I don't remember what they were all called, but I've done a lot of one acts. I was Cindy Lou Who in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was my senior year. In middle school, I was Sandy in Grease. And something funny about that is that the person who played Danny was a girl. So I think that was just foreshadowing my future. I really wonder how she's doing these days. I honestly don't even remember what her name was. But if you're out there and you remember, and if you were Danny, if you played Danny in middle school and at that time identified as a girl and you're watching this, how are you doing? I also, so after high school, my original goal was to go into musical theater. Like I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway. I'm going to be a Broadway star. And that's it. Like I was planning on going to AMDA after high school. And then high school ended and I didn't go to college. And I think it was maybe a little after I graduated, maybe a year or so, I saw online there was like a musical theater boot camp thing in New York. And I went to that and it was like really intense. That's something about musical theater. It's really intense. And that trip made me realize that I don't want to pursue musical theater as a career. It's just people in musical theater take things very, 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 very seriously. And I love that for them. But I just really don't take things seriously. And it also, like, another thing is that, like, I'm a musical theater kid and I'm going to talk shit about musical theater kids because I am one. But, like, if you don't know a play or a song or, like, or the every dance move to a certain musical number, like, they will look at you like you are crazy. And it's just like, sometimes I just don't know things, you know? Sometimes I just don't know things. And that's okay. Also, another thing that really turned me off from musical theater, like Broadway specifically, is I remember during the musical theater boot camp, they were like, if you yawn, you are the killer. Like, you are the devil. Like, if you yawn in class, you might as well just go, you know, like, they were dead serious. And I was like, I have insomnia, dude. Why are you taking it personally? I'm just fucking tired. I just need to yawn sometimes. And that's what I mean by, like, they take it too seriously. But anyways, while I was on that trip, I did see a couple Broadway shows. Most importantly though, so one of the teachers that came to teach a class was the guy who played Squidward in the Broadway show. He was very nice. He was cool. He taught us like the opening number dance. He was very funny and nice. Like, I liked him a lot. I followed him on Instagram. But so we had a class with him, learned the opening number, and then with one of the girls who I was rooming with during that time, shout out Tatiana if you're watching this, love ya, miss you. I don't even know how, she got tickets to go see SpongeBob the Musical, second row with the original cast. So yes, I saw Ethan Slater in SpongeBob, second row. I saw the sweat on that man's forehead. Isn't that crazy? While we were watching the show, when they were doing the opening number, we were like low-key like doing the dance like in our seat. And then after the show, sometimes the cast will like come out and like talk to people who are waiting outside. And we brought up like how we took a class with Squidward and he taught us the opening number. And she was like, yeah, I saw you guys like doing the dance and I was wondering how you guys knew it. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, moving on from musical theater, I've done a lot of musical theater stuff. That's just kind of the main meat and potatoes. I don't know. But besides musical theater, I was also very much like planning on being an actor, like in movies and TV shows and stuff. That was what I thought I was going to do for a long time. I took acting classes for years. I did a lot of indie movies, short films, like indie stuff. There is footage of like all the stuff I've done over the years. Maybe one day I'll do a little reaction video to that stuff. Some of the stuff too, like, never really came to fruition, which was really sad, but you know, it is what it is. The coolest thing I did though was I was on Nickelodeon. Not only was I on Nickelodeon, but I was killed off of a show. And I'm not kidding. I was killed off of a Nickelodeon show. They killed me, dude. They killed me. So the show in question is called I Am Frankie. I actually don't know the runtime, like how many seasons it had. I want to say around 2, maybe 3 seasons of I Am Frankie. I think I was on this first season. Season 1, I think, of I Am Frankie. I was technically in like 3 episodes, but for 2 of them, it was only the back of my head. For one of them, bitch, it was me right here, like on camera. So the premise of I Am Frankie is that like there's this girl who's actually a robot and she's like trying to live a normal life as a real girl at school. And I was one of her like robot clones that was like dead, like in the back of the warehouse or whatever. It was me and 3 other girls who were all like dressed the same, who looked like Frankie. We had these like brown wigs on and like android outfits. And so it was just a scene like in that warehouse. And there was this like robot egg man thing who will like, who I think he was like trying to boot up one of us, and like he picks me and he's like, he says, I think there's some juice left in her. And then he shines a light on me, and then I stand up and I run after the magic egg robot thing. And then I run into a wall and my body splits in half. And then I'm just on the floor dead. So, yeah. Other than that, though, I have done a lot of auditions that I didn't get, but I auditioned for Robin in Stranger Things. I auditioned to be in Cobra Kai. I don't remember the role. I auditioned to be in Cobra Kai. I auditioned to be in this movie called Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey. I auditioned for... I did a lot of auditions for Nickelodeon. I remember auditioning for Every Which Way, I Am Frankie, probably some other things too that I can't remember. I auditioned to be on The Voice. I didn't get that, but I auditioned. This one's more musical theater, but I also auditioned to be Nemo in at Disney World for their musical theater performance. You guys know the meme that went around on TikTok? Where's my dad? I'm all alone. I'm too small to be here on my own. I don't know if you guys remember when that made the rounds. I auditioned to be that. I didn't get it though. But you know what? It is what it is. That meme could have been me, but it wasn't. So yes, I also do sing. I have 2 albums, and I'm currently working on my 3rd. A cool thing that I did singing wise was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kristen Chenoweth, aka OG Galinda, who was also had a guest spot in the new Wicked movie with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. I sang backup vocals on stage with Kristen Chenoweth. It wasn't just me. I was in like a crowd. No, I was in like a chorus. It was my vocal coach at the time somehow had a connection to this opportunity, and she chose a handful of her students to go sing backup vocals with Kristen Chenoweth. And I did that. And what's funny is, so we, the day of, went for like a little dress rehearsal, and she came out. She was so sweet. She like came out and talked to us and like was like so like interested in like all of us and like getting to know us and stuff. And she was so short. I remember that. She was so tiny. Yeah, she was super nice. And then when the show happened, we all sang. It went beautifully. Everything was amazing. And then we were all supposed to walk off stage, including Kristen, after our songs. And I don't know how this happened, but I was just really caught up in the moment. And like, I like bumped into Kristen on accident. But then she was really nice about it. She was like, no, it's okay. Like, and then she put her arm around me. And we walked off stage together, and she went, you did so good. And I went, you did so good. Like, oh my God. And there's also a lot of lore there as well, because I've been idolizing Kristen Chenoweth since elementary school. Like I said, I was a musical theater kid. I was obsessed with Wicked. More specifically, Kristen Chenoweth and her performance of Popular.
There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
So that was like a really, really big moment for me that I will never forget. I also sang backup vocals. It was the same sort of deal. My vocal coach had a connection somehow to this and picked a handful of students to come sing backup vocals for Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow is an older singer. He sings at the Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copacabana. That song. I sang backup vocals for him. And that song was one of them that I sang backup vocals for. It was really cool. He was not as nice as Kristen Chenoweth. He wasn't necessarily mean, but he just like didn't take the time to introduce himself to us or like talk to us at all. I didn't meet him at all. Like, I just sang for him. It was the only time that I was like near him was when we were on stage. And what's crazy also is those 2 concerts that I was in, at that time, I had never been to a concert. I had only been in concerts. Total flex. But yeah, I am getting back into my singer-songwriter era. I, as you know, am going through a lot right now. If you're not caught up on what I'm dealing with, check out my last 2 vlogs. Would ya? Yeah, I have a lot to write about, and I have a lot of pent-up emotions right now that I'm getting these emotions out through music. And I have a song right now that is really almost ready, and I'm excited to show you guys, to say the least. So I'm in talks with someone who's going to be helping me with the mixing and like mastering of the song. I was originally going to try to do it myself, but sometimes you just need to know when to ask for help, and right now I just need help with making the song sound like a professional song. You know what I mean? Because like I know the basics of mixing, kind of, but I'm really not like a professional. Obviously, I didn't go to school for it. My bangs are like making me mad. So yeah, give me a little bit more time to tweak the song and make it sound like a professional song, and it will be out for you guys hopefully very soon, within the next couple weeks, question mark. We'll see. Just keep your eyes peeled for like maybe a little teaser video or something that I'm gonna be dropping when the song is ready. So shh, I need to take my pill. This is your reminder: if you have pills to take them. Sorry, I almost choked on water. But yeah, I do have a kind of secret, kind of not secret music channel. If you don't know, this channel started out as a music channel, and then I got into gaming, and then now we're here. But I have another channel that's dedicated to like just my music. Right now it's just music videos, but I'm thinking about starting to maybe post covers over there as well. So go subscribe to my little secret music channel. It only has like 100-something subscribers right now. You can say you were there before anybody else. You're an OG, you know? Anyways, a little bit of a subject change from music. So I was really into Animal Crossing when it first came out, and I've watched a lot of Animal Crossing creators. One of my favorite creators was froggycrossing, aka Raven. Love her. She also lives in Florida. I don't know what part of Florida, but Raven, if you're watching this, I want to hang out with you. I think we would be really good friends. froggycrossing toured my dream island in a video, and I didn't know for months, which is crazy because I used to watch all of her videos. I just so happened to miss that one. And one day I was just watching. No, you know what? You know how I found out? When I first started making TikToks about gaming, I posted a video touring my island. My island was a witchcore themed island. It was really cool. I spent a lot of time on it, and someone commented and they were like, I think I saw froggycrossing tour this island in a video. And I went, huh? Excuse me? Huh? Come again? Huh? And they were like, yeah, it's the video called this. And then I went to go look, and lo and behold, froggycrossing was on my island. She was very impressed. I freaked the fuck out. Yeah, and then I posted about it on Instagram, and I tagged her in it, and I was like, oh my god, how did froggycrossing tour my island months ago and I'm just now finding out? And then she reposted it on her story and was like, we loved your island. And then she didn't follow me back, so that's really cool. But anyways, Raven, I'm not taking it personally, but you could repay me. She doesn't owe me anything. She doesn't know me. You could repay me by us hanging out. Am I coming off creepy? I don't want to be creepy. I just really fuck with you. Oh, I think I fucked up somewhere. Where did I fuck up? All right, moving on. I have worked many jobs in my life. Normal people jobs, kind of. Some of them are a little weird. But I've always struggled to find a job that fulfills me and makes me happy, as I'm sure a lot of people struggle with. So I've jumped around to a lot of jobs. In school, starting in like middle school, I worked as the Easter bunny at a local park. That was only like obviously like a seasonal thing. I was the Easter bunny for a little bit. I was in a very terrifying costume, and it was really hot in that costume and I was dying every time I was in it. I also, after I graduated school, I was a party princess. I would go to local parties for children and I would be a princess for them. I was Elsa a lot. I was Ariel a lot. I did Snow White one time. I did Sleeping Beauty one time. I did Wonder Woman one time. It was a really hard job, but it paid really well. And it was like interesting to like do. It didn't last very long though, because the lady who was running it basically just like stopped and like went into hospitality. So she like tried to sell the company, but she couldn't sell it to anybody. And then I was out of a job. And then I worked at Ulta Beauty I ended up working there for 3 years. I hated it. But it was during like the beauty guru makeup YouTuber era. So it was like prime time. Like I was working there during Dramageddon. I had people returning their James Charles palettes to me. Do I have a James Charles palette? Still in my closet. Yes. Look, it's got really nice colors in there. But yeah, I worked at Ulta Beauty for 3 years, and then the pandemic happened and I ended up quitting. And then I really was trying to pursue Twitch streaming. I started streaming on Twitch in 2020 during the pandemic, and I was really trying to make that into something, and like it never really quite worked out for me. So I think I was making like $100 a month, maybe, on Twitch, which is not like terrible, but it's not livable, you know? And it was doable for me because I was living at my parents' and it was a pandemic, so like I couldn't really go out and do a whole lot. And then I ended up moving out of my parents' house to Orlando for a little bit. And in Orlando, I worked as a daycare provider for 6 months. I worked with infants, 1-year-olds, and 2-year-olds. I started out with the infants, which was my favorite. I loved working with the infants. I love babies. That is one thing about me. I love a baby. Like, you're a baby. You're a baby. That daycare job was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. It was so emotionally and physically draining, and I was absolutely not being paid enough. And I did come to find out that I was being paid more than people who have worked there longer than me, which is pretty fucked up, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that job was a nightmare. So I started out working with the infants, like I said, and I was having a great time with the infants. And then I got moved to the 1-year-olds, which was fine. They were a little more rowdy, but they were fine. And then I got moved to the 2-year-olds. And so when you're working in daycare, there's this thing called student to teacher ratio, and you must stay within ratio at all times, or else you will get in very big trouble. And it differs from, I don't know if it's a state thing or like a county thing or city, I don't know. But my ratio for the infants, let's start with the infants. Infants, it was 1 teacher per 3 babies. So if you had 3 babies, you could have 1 teacher. If there was 4 babies, you had to have 2 teachers present. The 1-year-olds, it was 1 teacher per 6 1-year-olds. For the 2-year-olds, it was 1 teacher per 12 2-year-olds. I just need you to imagine 12 2-year-olds in one room. I think that's enough. And I had to change all of their diapers one by one. I had to get all of them to go to take a fucking nap at a certain time. Had to get all of them to go outside for recess and make sure nobody fucking kills each other. Had to make sure everybody eats food. Some of them have dietary restrictions I gotta keep track of. Sometimes they throw up. Sometimes they bite each other. Sometimes they hurt themselves. When it is 1 teacher and 12 2-year-olds, I cannot physically make sure everybody is okay all the time. So, yeah, it was rough. I would spend my breaks crying. So yeah, I quit that job after 6 months. And then I got a job at a sushi restaurant. It was called Sushi Pop. Actually, the one that I worked at is closed now. There was two. Now there's one open in Oviedo. I never knew how to say it. I think it's Oviedo, Florida. There's one there. And that was, I'm not joking, it was the greatest sushi I've ever had in my life. If you ever go to Sushi Pop, you need to order the ceviche roll and you need to order their chicken wings. And you can thank me later. I still think about that sushi to this day. And like, I want to go back so bad and eat it. And then I ended up moving back home after living in Orlando for like a year. I ended up moving back home to my parents. And I was really struggling with where I wanted to work. I got a job at Target and absolutely hated my life. Working in produce, and it was always so fucking cold. And my hands were always on the verge of like frostbite. And all the people who worked there were really weird, except for one person. No, there was like two people who were cool. Everybody was just like really weird there. And like, they didn't train me like at all. Literally, my first closing shift, I was alone closing produce by myself. My manager was just like, yeah, you do this, and this, and then you're done. So like no help at all. So that was great. I ended up quitting Target to go to nail school. So if you don't know, nail school only takes like, I think it's like 4 months, I think. And it's not very expensive. And I was like, you know what? Doing nails sounds like it would be fun. It would be a little bit like creative. And it sounds like something that can make good money. And like, it sounds like it could be chill. Boy, was I wrong. I went to nail school. I graduated. And what they don't tell you is that they don't actually teach you shit in nail school, like at all. You just kind of have to fend for yourself, at least where I went. And I did not feel prepared at all when I graduated. But I got hired at a local nail salon, and my bosses, they were a husband and wife. We'll call them Wendy and George. Wendy was like, she was kind of mean, but also like kind of nice sometimes. She was hit or miss, depending on the day. But sometimes she was nice, sometimes she was strict and like mean. George was an asshole all the time. So he would always just like be mean to me and rude and not like have any patience with me as someone who just got out of nail school. And he would always be like really smart with me and mean. And so one day, these two ladies came in, and George and I were both doing their pedicures. And I went to the back room while I was waiting for something for the pedicure. I was doing something in the back room to like continue with my pedicure. And then George comes back and he goes, something about the hot towels not being in the heater thing. And he was like screaming at me. And I was like, there's no way he's talking to me right now. And while he was yelling at me, I went in my locker, which was in the back room. I grabbed my stuff and I walked out, because absolutely not. You're not going to talk to me like that. You are not going to yell at me. My own parents don't yell at me like that. So what makes you think you're going to yell at me like that? I walked out and started crying, because I cry when I'm angry. And yeah, that was the last time I ever went in that building. And while I was working there was when I started posting Stardew Valley TikToks, and they were starting to gain some traction. So I kind of just went all in on the Stardew stuff. Started building my YouTube channel more with gaming, and the rest is history. Now we're here. And I'm doing content full time, and I love this job so much. I am very, very happy doing this. It gives me a lot of flexibility, and especially with someone who has insomnia, working like a schedule is really, really, really hard, because sometimes I just don't sleep. And like, if I have to be at work at 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning or whatever, like sometimes I'm going to work on literally 0 hours of sleep. So like sometimes when I can't sleep, now that I make my own schedule, I can like give myself some grace, let myself take a little nap, and like then get back to work, because like, holy shit, that was exhausting. working a schedule and having insomnia. Okay, so I turned off the camera for a second. I missed a row. I had to go back and fix it. We're coming together. I'm on the last color before I need to stuff her. I'm gonna finish this row off camera, and also I need to make the legs and the antenna. I'm gonna do that off camera as well. And then we'll be back to finish off the junimo. It's almost done. Kind of. See you in a second. Okay, so I have almost done junimo, armed legs, and an antenna. Now I have to tie all these on to here. Also put some eyeballs on it. But this part is really tedious and boring. So I'm just gonna do this off camera as well. And then I'll come back when we are stuffing the junimo and finishing it. 3, 2, 1. What? Okay, so here is the junimo. It is hollow right now, so we need to stuff her and then close her off. I got a little convenient bag of stuffing right here. So we will grab some and put them in here. While I was crocheting off camera, I was listening to Vanilla Mace's old podcast, Vacancy at Vanilla's. If you've watched my last couple vlogs, you know that I am a Vanilla stan right now. She is helping me through my breakup right now. Love her. Shout out to her. But she does this thing on her podcast where at the end, she takes a call where like her viewers just send her voice memos and like asking for advice. Sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's serious. And I feel like that could be something that we could do here as well, if that's something you guys would be interested in. Like I could crochet something and take calls from you guys and give you my unprofessional advice. I would just have to figure out how to coordinate all of that. But let me know if that would be something that you're interested in. I think that would be pretty fun. I love to give advice. And I feel like I'm 26, almost 27. I'll be 27 in December. I feel like I have a good amount of life experience and been through a lot of things to be able to offer some advice that might be helpful to you guys if you're going through something. I don't know. Okay, so this part is a little bit tedious. We must do single crochet 2 together until it's closed. All right, so we cut this off, take it out, and now she has a, so we are going to just kind of hide this within the fluff inside. And this is my new junimo. It's honestly, the colors are a little bit uneven, but it's fine. Nothing needs to be perfect. Everything's fine. I'm gonna go replace her. There she blows. This is my old one. She's a lot bigger than the one I just made. I don't know what happened there, but she served us well, but it is time to retire. So yeah, that is going to be it for this little video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a fun time filming it. I get really in my head about doing unscripted videos. I think I have a bit of a perfectionist problem, and I'm trying to stop trying to be perfect all the time. Trying to unlearn, you know how it is. So yeah, I hope you like this, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Oh, by the time you're watching this, my Witchcore Stardew Valley streams will have already begun. At the time I'm filming this, our first one is tomorrow, which I'm very excited for. I haven't streamed in like 2 months, so I'm excited and nervous, and yeah, go check out those streams if you haven't yet. I'm sure they're really fun and really cool and so witchy. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.